Football then and now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.
Welcome to Football Then and Now. I can't even remember what episode. We're close to 80. Stuart will tell me. Or tell anyone else who's watching this afterwards.
77?
Maybe. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, so I'm a bit behind. Well, busy man, busy bee. Making coffees for a living these days, it's hard work. Besides that, how are you, Braids?
Not bad, mate, yeah?
Yeah, not too bad. Not enjoying the international break. I think we've had this conversation for almost 40 plus years, how much we dislike the international break, especially in September when we've got, just a break in the Premier League and we're waiting for months for the Premier League to start. The window closes.
Play 3 games, then go on an international break.
That's it. You get all these shiny new players at the end of the window and you have to wait, a week and a half to see them?
What shiny new players?
Oh, well, you shouldn't pay over the odds on wages and you might be all right. Well, obviously, we're going to do 2 shows today. One's going to be pre-recorded, which will be the next episode we do for the Everton Villa game. This one today, we are going to focus primarily on transfers. We're going to go through each clubs. I'm going to pull up on my computer, Braids, and I'm going to go through each clubs, and we're going to go through what we feel like was the worst and the best. Yeah, but I feel like we're going to start from the breaking news that we've had today. And obviously, I was in bed when you told me about Nuno. So Espirito Santo being sacked by Nottingham Forest. We did see a lot of hairy moments, isn't it, during the last couple of weeks of the window, and him calling out the chairman of Nottingham Forest, who seems to be, wants to be the number one. At the club. It's not Nottingham Forest. It's him. And I can't, to myself, Braids, I can't stand that. And I'm not a fan of chairmen who want to put themselves above the football club and the football fans and make it a shit show. What's your opinion on Nuno's sacking today?
I'm not massively surprised. I'm surprised he's done it now, but obviously with all the bad blood that apparently they had through the transfer window and the start of the season, but just sack him like that when he's got Forest up to the highest finish they'd had for a very long time, got them into Europe, almost getting top 4, had a hell of a season last season, to just get the boot. It was a bit of a strange one. Obviously, we're not Forest fans, so we wouldn't know the ins and outs. Or obviously, somebody might be able to fill us in a bit better that does know. But apparently, there was a lot of bad blood between them. Like what Nuno said in his interview a few weeks ago, that he barely speaks to the owner anymore. And from what I'd been seeing, a lot of the signings they brought in over the summer was the chairman and not Nuno. So I think it all just came to a head in, bit of a strange one. But obviously we then saw that Ange Postecoglou's gone in there. Where we were talking this morning, we thought it was going to be Jose.
I generally did think, I thought because of the hair, it was so, what would be the word?
Convenient.
That's it. The Fenerbahce situation with Mourinho, it all started, and then Nuno started. I had a tinfoil hat, and obviously, I just thought that would be where he'd go. And if you remember rightly, Jose Mourinho said a year ago that he's going to be at Fenerbahce for 2 years and he's going to come back to the Premier League, but he's not going to come back to a Premier League team that's in the Championship. The Champions League.
Yeah.
That was his statement. And I just thought, 2 and 2 together. I just thought
that's what I thought.
But as you say, Ange has gone to Forest, completely different styles to Nuno, which is, it's completely different styles. And you're going from one end to another.
I can't see a lot of Forest fans being happy with it. He got the Europa League title with Tottenham last season, but league form
dreadful.
Bad. And from what I saw in the league, he had plan A, and we spoke about it last season. Me, you, Stewie, and he seems like he has plan A, and that's it. Doesn't have a plan B. I don't know if it's because he was restricted with players at Spurs, and he might be able to have different tactics this time with Forest with the amount of players they've got, but it seemed like he was the same at Celtic. He had plan A, and if that wasn't going the way that he wanted, there was nothing to fall back on. There was no plan B. So I can't see a lot of Forest fans being very happy with it.
It's a hard one. I think at some point I might have to reach out to a Forest fan and get them on the show, and just to get their point of view, because as you say, we're only looking through a window here. We can't actually see the inside the gaff of how the Forest fans are feeling. It is a strange one, and as you say, Nuno did such a great job last season. Considering when he came in and they were, like us on borderline relegation.
Yeah.
And then, last season was absolutely fantastic for Forest. The wins they got, beating Liverpool at Anfield, and I don't think any other team did that last season.
I don't think anybody had done it for a long time. I think it was a few seasons that they'd gone and beaten at Anfield.
But it was, for what he did last season was incredible. Okay, they fell towards the end, but this is what happens sometimes, isn't it? The teams that have been normally in these positions, they know the situation and they do grind the results out to get themselves back up, and they were very unlucky. I think you were very unlucky as well. We did the job for you against Newcastle. You just got screwed over United, didn't you, really? But it's a difficult one. It's a strange one. You know what I mean? All the best to Ange. I do like him as a manager. But, you look at Nuno, he spoke out against the chairman. And I believe Ange will most definitely do the same, because that's the personality in the way he is. It's just, as you say, it's plan A. It's okay to do it in the Scottish Premier League, and that's no disrespect to the fans up there, but the Premier League's a different beast. You've got to have multiple plans, and you see managers that come into the Premier League with plan A, and they die on that sword, and they're gone.
Yeah,
that is pretty much what happens in the Premier League. You need to be open to suggestive changes, style, tactics, player movement. You have to be open to it, otherwise you will get engulfed. But besides that, that's the negative point, because I do see it as a negative, because you don't want to see any manager off the back of a really good season get sacked. Obviously, we're known to what we actually know what went on between obviously him and Edu and the chairman. But he'll find another job. He's a decent enough manager. He'll find another job. And like I say, now it's going to be interesting to see what Ange can do with a team that, he hasn't built. He's been given all these new players, and they bought really well this summer when they did get players in. But he likes pace.
A lot of players that have gone in there went in there for Nuno. So
you'd think so, depending on, obviously, say if their signings were Nuno's and not Edu's.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see. He's come in 3 games in, so
he's a long road ahead.
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably been at the best time now. So with last week probably would have been the best, with the Premier League being off for the week. He's thrown straight into the barrel this weekend for But we'll see. This is what that we know what the Premier League's like, and we know what football's like. It is a pantomime at best. But anyway, we're here to talk the transfer window. Here you go. The good old Sky Sports News one. Just need to get the old yellow tie on now, Brady, and we're all sorted. Right, I'm obviously going to go from alphabetical order. So I'm going to go starting with Arsenal.
I feel Arsenal had a very good transfer window.
Yeah,
I think they identified where they needed to strengthen, and I feel they did that. And to be honest, I think I'm not saying they haven't challenged for the title in the past few seasons, but I think they've got more of a chance of doing it this season with the players that they've brought in. I think the past 3-4 seasons they've sort of drifted off near the end, where I think this time they have got players that could possibly push them over the line.
I think more than pushing them over the line, Breds. I think that literally will put them in that like touching distance. You are correct. Arsenal have been so close against, when City were running wild, and then obviously Liverpool running wild. They just didn't have a striker, did they? Didn't have that a striker that could finish a game off, or just put a goal in and they could sit back and it's not an Arsenal kind of thing to sit back on a 1-0 lead, but they didn't have someone that would finish the chances that were put in the box. You know what I mean? There was a lot of pressure on Saka to be the main man, really. And then you had Moreno, who was playing up front, who's, CDM, that's his position. But, he did all right. He scored, he scored goals. He scored goals. Declan Rice had to step up, didn't he? Obviously, we remember his fantastics against Real Madrid in the set pieces, which were phenomenal. But they just missed out because obviously they didn't have an out-and-out striker. Obviously, they've now gone out and spent the money for Big Vic Gyökeres from Sport Lisbon, 63.5 million, as I'm looking here. Am I convinced? I don't know. I know he did it for Coventry, but I know he did it for one season before he went to Sporting. And we were heavily linked with Gyökeres before he went to Sporting. And I think they wanted measly like 15 million, and we had no money, which is annoying. It's an Everton thing, isn't it? You get offered this player that goes off and does an amazing, has an amazing career. But he's a different kind of striker. We have seen what he's been like in the Champions League. We've seen what he's been like for Sporting over there in Portugal. He only scored an abundance of goals, but he's a different type of striker. Yes, he knows where the back of the net is. That's a gimme, but he's a bit more slower. He's not a pace merchant.
No,
he's got strength, obviously, like Haaland, but Haaland's obviously got the pace as well as the strength, as well as the finishing.
And the height.
But he knows, and the moaning as well, like, a typical, a Norwegian Yorkshireman, because I might as well say that, isn't he? He's born in Leeds, wasn't he? So
he's born in Leeds,
But it's a good signing all in all for them, because they needed a striker and they needed somebody to score goals.
He scored the other week, didn't he? So
he
got off the mark quickly.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, but again, we're still early in, and there's so many players that have come into Arsenal this summer. Supermendy, fantastic signing they bought from Real Sociedad. Obviously, that was pretty much tied up in January, and that was like, I think, 51 million, around 51, 52 million they signed. Fantastic. In the middle of the park will help Odegaard and especially Declan Rice to move forward. But if I'm going to go one that jumps out and one that I'm dead impressed, and the one I feel like Arsenal probably want that we're more happy with more than Gyökeres going there is Eze. I think that for me was
that lad has got so much talent. He's only young. I mean, I know there was links and they said that he was nailed on signed for Tottenham, and then all of a sudden Arsenal came in for him. All he ever wanted was Arsenal. He said that he'd gone from the Arsenal academy when he was young, and he always said he would love to go back to Arsenal. And he got the chance, and I think Arsenal came in with, I don't know if they matched Spurs' bid or if they just bid a little bit more, but apparently personal terms were already set in place. He'd already agreed them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have offered him 50p. He would have gone to Arsenal. He wanted to go back to Arsenal out of everyone.
Well, it's his team.
And I just think that signing, you'll have him out on the left, Saka out on the right, Gyökeres down the middle. I think that is, once they get going, that's going to be a brilliant front three.
It's frightening, isn't it, really? If you go,
I mean, you look at Liverpool's front three and you look at Arsenal's front three, and they're both a scary monster to look at.
They are, as a defender looking at that, for both parties, and especially, obviously, we'll get to Liverpool and Isak and all that, obviously, later on when we break down through, the other teams. But, it's a frightening prospect, but they needed that. And I feel like, Arsenal spent really well. They've managed to get players in to cover positions in defence as well, especially
Mm.
midfield as well. They did with strikers. They've not done it with the wingers. You would hope they have a good season with the players and the money they've spent. I do feel like there's a lot of pressure on Arteta to get this one done this season.
Yeah.
With the money spent and the players brought in, there's no excuses. And I feel like, if he's going to be able to do it, this would be the season. But again, a lot of teams have spent in the top 4 ratio now. Have spent really, really well. But we'll move on from Arsenal. And good luck to Mikel Arteta, former Evertonian, obviously. And, I hope he does do well. Well, here you go, Brady. I did say alphabetical order. We're going straight to your beloveds in Aston Villa. I'm looking at your ins, not your outs, because most of your outs were, your younger players. Out of contracts, your Coutinho's, your Dundunkers. Obviously, Jacob Ramsey is probably the biggest one that stands out for me. I know Leon Bailey's a bit of a bummer because I like Leon Bailey, but obviously injuries.
I like Leon Bailey. I think there's apparently an obligation to buy in the contract with Roma, but Villa still have if he goes there and has a really good season, they could change their mind on it. So it's not they have to buy him once he's played a certain amount of games. Like we spoke today about Harvey Elliott, we've brought him in. Fantastic signing for me. I think, is he going to start every game? No. Is he going to start majority? I think he could push for it. He's a replacement for Ramsey. But from what I've been seeing, the contract was if he plays 10 games, then we're obliged to buy him. We have to pay the 30 to 35 million. There's a big buyback clause in there and a big sell-on clause as well, apparently. But fantastic signing for me.
Yeah,
good goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, as I say, you've signed Marco Bizot as well, didn't you? And obviously there was massive rumours over Martinez staying. The whole storyline of him crying the end of the game at Old Trafford. That everyone was trying to, really home in on that. He was crying because he was gonna leave Aston Villa. It seemed like that was what was going to be the case at the end of the window. I thought Man United, obviously, because that was the rumour, wasn't it? Man City were going for Donnarumma, which is understandable, world class. I thought United would have looked at him, especially with.
Apparently, from what I've been reading the past couple of days or so, no bid actually ever came in from United. They went for a loan, which Villa shot down straight away.
Absolutely.
But there was no bid whatsoever came in for him. The only one that really had a sniff of putting a bid in was from the Turkish league.
Yeah, well, they're still open, aren't they? Yeah. Onana went there yesterday. Was it yesterday? Onana went there, and I think United fans obviously must be over the moon with that.
Trabzonspor, was it?
Trabzonspor, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we're not talking Man United. We can get to Man United in a bit. So I'm gonna obviously we're gonna make this a bit quicker. I'm gonna name obviously 2 other signings I'm looking at here that you spent money on. So Avan Gusan, I know him through Football Manager. He's one of those players that I kind of liked, and then I followed him through Nice, from behind him, Football Manager, and then obviously watching stuff off YouTube and just seeing if he was the player that. And I do this quite often. If I find a player, and then I watch him on YouTube to see if Football Manager actually do match the potential of what they thought they were going to end up being. 28 million. I haven't really looked at any games that really you've played. This, the first 3 games obviously focused too much on Everton with with everything that was going on in ours. What's he been? Has he had minutes? Has he impressed you so far, as Gusan?
He played. He had a couple of games in pre-season. He's not started so far this season, but he's come on, or has he started? No, I don't think he started yet, but I might be wrong. I probably will be wrong, but he's had games. He's
right.
Looked like he's going to fit in well. He's pacey. He's strong. He's big. I think from what I've seen when he was in France, I think he's going to fit into the Premiership well. I think he just needs game time. I think if he gets a start against you lot on the weekend, that could be a bit of a baptism of fire, but I think that's the type of game he needs. Because from what I've seen, he likes to play on the shoulder of the last defender, and he likes to flick around and beat them for pace.
Oh yeah, because that's going to be hard against Michael Keane, isn't it? Yeah, but it's, anyway, that's next. We'll talk about that when we obviously do the preview.
I mean, he's only young. He's one for the next few seasons. I think he's going to come good because it's one of Emery's signings. Apparently, he's been looking at him for the past few seasons, and he wanted somebody to play off the right side, but also play at top if needed, which he can do. He's that type of player, kind of like Ollie. He can play on the left, but plays down the centre most of the time for us anyway. But I think he's going to be a good signing. I think once he's got game time under his belt, I think he's going to do really well for us.
Obviously, I want one word with this one, and then we'll move on to Bournemouth. Jadon Sancho, yes or no?
For what he did at the end of Chelsea last season, yes. I think it's another Rashford.
I think Rashford's better than Sancho, if I'm completely honest. But
yeah, but
I get what you mean by the speed merchant. But I feel like Rashford, yeah, he had speed, but I feel Rashford could finish, and I think he could beat him. He could beat a man. Where I feel Sancho isn't as fast as Rashford was.
But a lot of people think that us getting Sancho in was a panic buy, was a panic deal. I don't think it is. Right, Mourinho, Mourinho. I would never have Mourinho at Villa. Don't care what anybody says. Emery and Monchi, they see something in him. They wouldn't have brought him just to fill numbers. They would have gone and got some kid from somewhere. They would have got somebody from somewhere. I think, like what they did with Rashford, bring him in. Emery is brilliant with man management.
I can't disagree.
And I think he can see something in him. I think you get him away from United, you give him games, you show him love, and you're going to get. If we can get a glimpse of what he was like at Dortmund, then happy days. Am I happy that we're covering 85% of his wage?
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
For the amount that he's on at United, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he's not worth. He wasn't worth the transfer fee. And no disrespect to Sancho, I just don't think he's hit the ground at all. He didn't hit the ground at United. He hadn't. I don't really. If he had a couple of games here and there at Chelsea, more so in the Europa League.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like it wasn't a panic buy for yourselves. I don't like his attitude. I feel like he's come to your club and he probably thinks he's the biggest player you've got now, and I don't like players like that.
I don't think he will, because there's a lot of players in our dressing room that will shoot him down.
Well, yeah, you'd hope so.
You've got Tyrone Mings, you've got John McGinn there. There is a lot of players. Luca Digne. There is a lot of players there that will literally shoot him down or put him in his place.
Right, let's move on. Bournemouth, Braids. You saw a lot of their key components from last season get taken away. Saboneri went to PSG. Kirkus Liverpool. Dean Huijsen went to Real Madrid. These were big players for them, and they literally dismantled at the back. Personally, and I'm looking at their players they brought in now, and a few players obviously stand out. Though I know, obviously, I know they bought Petrov as the goalkeeper because Kepa went to Arsenal. Ben Doak from Liverpool, another young lad we were looking at, actually, funny enough. But, I couldn't imagine Everton Liverpool doing a deal at all for any kind of play between them both. but he's another one I think can do really, really well. So it's just a quick fire, Braids. What do you feel with what Bournemouth have bought into what they've sold, and do you feel that
I think
maintain?
I think for what has gone and what's come in, I think personally Bournemouth could struggle.
Okay,
I think the caliber of player that's gone compared to the caliber of player that they brought in.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the players that they brought in, they're still very good players.
Absolutely.
I just can't see them doing what they did last season. I'm not saying they're going to struggle where they're going to be in a relegation. Yeah. I just think they're going to be mid-table at that.
Yeah, I'll say floating around the bottom top half.
Yeah.
I'm going to go straight to Brentford, and I feel sorry for Brentford. Thomas Frank always had them playing really good football, and players like Mbumo, Visser, they've lost them now, which I feel like it's a big deal for them. They were core players. But Norgard was a core player.
Yeah.
And I'm looking who they brought in now. Gallagher from Liverpool, good goalkeeper, suits, that's fine. Jordan Henderson, on the older age, but I feel like players like him,
I think with the players that they lost in midfield, they needed somebody like him to.
Yeah, he's been around the block. I prefer Gareth Barry over Jordan Henderson, and I know a lot of Liverpool fans will literally be sticking their middle fingers up at me here now, but he's still a good player, and he's for what he was. Obviously not going to be the same type of player, but yeah, the experience in that hole, he's very good at that. Obviously, they bought good old Dango Otuari from Bournemouth. I'm looking at that, 42 million. That's a lot of money. I know he's obviously made an instant impact when he played his first game in the last Premier League outing. And then obviously they got Reece Nelson on loan, which he had, didn't really work out for him at Fulham last season.
No.
I'm going to, obviously, again, straight fire here. From obviously all these players that have gone who've made Brentford the feared team they've lost them. Do you think Brentford are in big trouble this season?
I mean, they got the win against us the other week, but we were poor and they were worse, which is bad to say. I mean, not taking anything against their goal and the win that they got, but I think they're going to be relegation. I think they're going to be they're either going to be fighting it or they're going to get stuck in it, and there's a chance they could go down. I can't see the players that they've brought in doing the job for them. 40 million for thingy from Bournemouth. You compare him to what they've lost, and he hasn't got the experience that Mbumo and Wisa had, and I think they're going to struggle. Personally.
Yeah, and I think losing Thomas Frank as well. I think that he was Mr. Brentford, wasn't he? I mean,
and I know they brought Thomas Frank in after Dean Henderson left for us, and he did a job for him, but he was always around the first team, and then they go and. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the manager now, but he doesn't have the experience.
Yeah, and you've just lost, as we just said, you've just lost Visser and Mbumo, who have been vital. For many seasons, they've been vital.
I mean, when Ivan Toney got that betting
they
ban,
took over. Yeah,
they took over, and they just literally they were a brilliant partnership. The way they played off each other. I mean, are they going to be able to do it at their respective teams now? Different tactics, different ways of playing. We'll see. But at Brentford, the way that they played, I mean, they've lost pretty much their core. Even with the manager, they've lost the core, the spine of their team.
Yeah.
And that is very hard to, you know that yourself with
Oh yeah, no,
rebuilds that you've seen at Everton. I've seen it with rebuilds at Villa. It's very hard to do.
It is. You need a catalyst. That one player that really does grab you by the fucking balls and literally pull you through everything. I look back and for all the shit that we had, Richarlison was the man that literally grabbed the team by the balls. Picked it as well. Pulled us through. It's a difficult one, but to lose your manager, your two best players, all in one summer, and not really replaced them because look at the players they've signed in. They aren't the Vissa or the Mbumo type players. And it's difficult to replace players that are that good. It is because you'd have to spend to get better players, and I'd say Mbumo and Vissa, maybe Vissa, I think they did well to get their money out of them two they sold, but they'd have to spend the same amount of money. What I'm trying to say is, so they'd have to spend the same amount of money to get that same talent back in.
Yeah,
and I don't think obviously Brentford could, but it's just one of them, and I mean it's going to be difficult for them, but you never know in football. Weird things happen, strange things just appear, don't they? And you feel like a team's going to struggle. And I remember when Wayne Rooney left to United and we bought Marcus Bent, Tim Cahill, and everyone literally put us dead to rights. And we finished fourth, though, didn't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
still didn't get Champions League, though, did you?
We did get Champions League that season. We just got eliminated by some baldy twat called Kalina. Arsehole. Anyway.
Moving on.
I don't like him. It pisses me off every time I think about it. I'm going to go to Chelsea, right? I'm going to jump straight to Chelsea.
Right? Brilliant.
Yeah. You can't knock for what they brought in. And actually, to be fair, they made a lot of money.
The players that they went out for what they've sold and what they've brought in. I mean, the players that they got out the door, it wasn't even dead wood. It was literally burned to ashes. Don't want you, don't need you. See you later. There's the door.
Yeah, we've got better players.
And they've made ridiculous money out of the players that they've sold. I think I saw the other day they've made, is it something like over 300 million off the players that they've sold?
It wouldn't surprise me considering they spent over $1 billion in buying players to come in.
Yeah, but it's so they've recouped a lot of money that they've spent this summer. They've recouped back in player sales. I mean, the business that they're doing is unbelievable. I mean, yeah, they've spent over £1 billion to build that team, and Todd Bowley was just absolutely ridiculous. But I think with the fact that he's sort of stepping to the side and letting somebody else take charge, I think I've put them down to challenge for the title.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you this, right? For the next clubs now, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to mention obviously what the club, and I want you to pull out one player that you feel that they've signed. If you can remember, I can always obviously tell you who they've signed if you don't remember. So Chelsea, obviously, you know who they signed. Is there anyone particular that you're excited to see throughout the season play for Chelsea?
João Pedro.
Okay. I'm going for Estevao William because he's one of those players that my football manager brain kicks in and remember how good he was on the game and seeing him an actual play on TV.
Yeah.
Fantastic talent. Another Brazilian that's going to really flourish if looked after. Right. I'm going to Palace. Palace is a difficult one. But they kept Gahey, so I'm not really. We spoke about Eze as well, so I'm not going to go too much in. Obviously, I'll go to Everton very quickly. We can talk about this in the preview between Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, fantastic.
Yeah.
Tyler Diblin, we're not yet to see what he's about properly, but hard to break in.
He's got a lot of talent.
Yes,
I picked Grealish there because obviously Villa.
Oh no,
But
yeah, well, yeah,
I
but
just-
Jackie Grealish is. You can see
yeah,
how
I
happy
said
he
to Stewie, I said, when you signed him, I said, as long as he's not nailed into a position and told, right, you stay there,
Yeah.
which we know David Moyes won't because he knows an eye for talent.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
If you let him play with the freedom that he had at Villa, he will get you goals, he'll get you assists. And you look at the last, 2-3 games, he's got you
3
4
games.
assists in
Yeah,
3
yeah.
games.
Perfect, and I think he's complementing with Njai on the right, and then
Yeah.
having Dewsbury Hall sitting behind them. Which you still again, all this can be changed around, and you've seen if you watch the game against Brighton, Grealish was
Well, they were
moving
just
everywhere.
chopping and changing, weren't they? From
Yeah,
what I saw,
and
they were just.
he
They were
looks
just.
so happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you want, a happy Grealish. You know what I mean? You're getting a talented player. I'm looking forward to seeing Diblin when he does break free of the bench. And I mean this in the nicest way because Jai has been our superstar for the last season. And obviously he's moved to the right and Diblin is moved, is brought into play necessarily on the right, and he was. He's going to have to work hard to get himself into the team now.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I still think, and I said this to Stuart, I was pissed off that we didn't get a right back. A right back we really, really, really needed. Jacob Ryan is a centre defender, so we really needed someone there. I don't know what happened there. I know we got Merlin Roll from Freiburg, another very young, talented German midfielder, can play multiple positions. I'm excited to see, when we can swap and change and get these players in to see, what they're going to be like. But I'm happy somewhat with the window with Everton. Like I said, the right back was just that would have been finishing touches to a window, which I'm always happy with, but I would have been ecstatic for with a right back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to Liverpool because one player that stands out and it's because of the price tag and the story that went through the whole of the window. Alexander Isak, 125 million. They bid once and then let the media do their fucking thing. And we know what that can be like. And it worked like a charm. I think he was badly advised, mind you, Braids. But Alexander Isak, Inteke, which out of those three are you going to say is going to be Liverpool's player of the season?
But
Okay.
I just think Ekitike, you know what you're getting from him.
Yeah.
He's going to get you goals. He's going to get you assists. Isak, we've already seen what he can do. He's a phenomenal player. For the price tag, I wouldn't say he was that high of a price tag, personally.
It's a mad one. It's a mad one. And to see Liverpool spend that much money, and we're talking about two players they spent over 100 million on. It's just not a Liverpool kind of thing to do. But they are a well-run club. As much as they're our rivals, being an Evertonian, I do respect and the way they are run because you don't like throw cash out for players like that.
No.
If you weren't a well-run club, is what I'm trying to say.
And they'll recoup it somehow. They always do.
Pretty much have, if you look at it. I'll run it down here for you. Nunes, 56. Obviously, they got 10 million that they weren't going to get for Trent, 18 million for Gallagher, 35 for Quinzar, 65 for Diaz, 25 for Doak, Tyler Morton went to Leon for 15 million. So, they did make money back.
Looks like they're going to get about 30 to 35 million for Harvey Elliott off us.
Yeah, so they have. They have made the money.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from Liverpool now, because I feel like it pains me talking about them. Jokes. Man United. Obviously, we spoke about Brian and Bumo, Mateus Cunha, Sesko, Brady. Have United bought well, or have they bought Sesko?
I think a lot of United fans will agree. I think once they brought Cunha and Burmo in, I think they should have. They needed a centre midfielder. They
Yeah,
needed to spend
yeah.
on their midfield, not up top. They needed to spend on their midfielder, on at least two midfielders, and I'm sure a lot of United fans would agree. I mean, getting Sesko in, brilliant signing for them. He is a good player, but I just feel they're going to struggle in midfield. Bruno can't do it all by himself.
No,
He's
I
going to
agree.
throw his toys out the pram at some point.
Yeah.
Casemiro, he's in the last year of his contract, I think it is, and is he as good as he used to be? No.
Well, I don't see
Can he
United
still
playing.
can he still put a shift in for him? Yes.
They can't see
I
United playing
feel
this wages this next summer though.
yeah,
Not his the amount he's on now anyway.
yeah. I just feel United, and I think a lot of United fans will probably say the same. I think they've had a good window in one aspect, but a bad window in another. I think they
Yeah.
didn't improve in certain places that they needed to improve in.
Right, we'll go straight to Newcastle now. Obviously,
Newcastle, I think,
go on.
linked with every player, missed out on every player.
Well, they were yes and no. They did go for João Pedro, chose Chelsea. They did go for Delap, like a lot of us did, chose Chelsea.
They went for Sesko, chose United.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
DK went to Liverpool.
Yeah.
They went for Gyökeres, went to Arsenal. I just feel like
It's horrible for
Newcastle, I think they're not stupid. They're not going to. The players they've brought in, especially the young lad that they've got up top now that they've just brought in.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Ultimate, the Wolf.
I think he's, from what I've seen, he's very talented.
For the size he is as well, he moves.
Yeah.
Very good. He's very good. Trying to put the word in the right sort of context here. I think of Spider-Man, right? But think of someone very, very tall, moving as quick as like Spider-Man. Voltamid is very much like that. Almost went to Bayern this summer, at the beginning of the summer. We were linked with him as well, but obviously we weren't going to ever pay 69 million for him.
I mean, is he going to replace the goals, the amount of goals and everything that he's brought in this season? No.
No, but I think they can spread it out now with Visser, Alanga, Jacob Ramsey. I think they've got enough players that they can spread the goals out, and the pressure's not just on one player like it was of Isak. And obviously Gordon does get a few. Bruno Guimaraes can get a few. Tonali maybe the odd here and there, but they put shifts in. Joe Linton as well. They have got a solid squad. It must be stressful. Well, not stressful, but pisses them off that they've got all this money. And I'm not saying that. Well, yeah, but
it's the same with Villa. It's exactly the same with Villa. I mean, we're not going to go into the whole PSR thing because we will
be forever. Yeah.
But you look at how much. I mean, we haven't got anywhere near what Newcastle have. You could probably take the amount that every team has got in the Premiership, and they probably still won't come close to how much Newcastle could spend.
Oh,
should there be a cap on how much teams are allowed to spend? Yes. Should it constrict them as much as it has done with the likes of us and Newcastle? I mean, it's getting ridiculous in some of the rules. Apparently, Villa were looking at a player at Newcastle after we'd sold them Jacob Ramsey, and we got told that Villa weren't allowed to buy him because it could be seen as swapping players.
Yeah, but we all did that. Not say we all did that. We all loopholed it last summer.
Yeah, but apparently this wasn't going to be a loophole thing. It was a player that Villa were actually looking at.
You see, I'm not even going to get into it, Brady, because
we'll be here all night.
You'll murder me if I go too far over. So, right, I want quick flashes now. Sunderland.
Very good.
Tottenham.
Meh.
West Ham.
Still good. Struggle.
Okay. Wolves.
Bye-bye.
How many have been getting relegated this summer, mate? I'm going to obviously ask you about very quickly. Man City, they got the business done, obviously, in the World Club tournament,
Yeah.
didn't they? They pretty much nailed all that on. Are you not? I suppose, are you surprised who they bought in, or do you think they could have done more? Just very quickly, what ended on Man City? Do you feel like they spent enough on players this summer to come back and make an attack back on Liverpool to regain the Premier League title?
I think they've brought the players in to do it. Have they brought enough in to replace what's gone out? I mean, how do you replace Kevin De Bruyne? Massive player to replace. Can they challenge? Yes. City always will.
Yeah.
I mean, they had that blip last season, but we all know what City are like. I think the race is going to be between, personally, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea. If a United fan says that they're challenging, they're living in a dream world.
I don't think they're going to say that, honestly. I think a lot of them have woke up now, mate. I do. I think a lot of them have woke up.
Well, after Grimsby, I'm not surprised.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining me and Brady. Obviously, this kind of episode, we could go on forever breaking down every player from every club that that's come in through the window. But unfortunately, we don't have that time. But we're back. Everton and Villa preview. We will be pre-recording that. So obviously, that won't be live until I think is it the Saturday night. No, is it 3 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah, Friday. I think.
Be out on Friday. So yeah, we'll be back then. You can listen to us drone on a bit more. So thanks for joining us. I hope your club signed the players that you wanted. And if you're unhappy, tough shit, you got till January now. See you later.